Hello and welcome to Love, Peace, Truth, Karma podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Brown, and today I've got the beautiful Marie Friend. What beautiful surname that is, just saying. Marie is the owner and facilitator, should I call you, of the Harmonic Egg. This is an unbelievable healing experience that everybody needs to try. It heals all sorts of trauma, illnesses within the body, and it most definitely is the future. Enjoy the podcast.
If you're in China, you just know it's corrupt. They want it to be like that here.
People are pretending to be 12-year-old kids, mate, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're 40-year-old men.
Now we're getting bombarded with all these death numbers, but there's no context there.
He'd got one child pregnant, he'd raped many others, and we had evidence to prove that.
Do you think evil still exists today as it did back then? And the answer should very simply be yes.
Before I get started today, I just want to announce some really exciting news. I have been asked to team up with Start Fitness Retreats to offer an exquisite collaboration. This is just what you need to fully charge your mind, body and soul. Be prepared to immerse yourself in a wonderful experience, connecting with like-minded souls that are also passionate about improving themselves through mindset, fitness and self-care. This stunning farm is eco-friendly and the perfect location, situated in central Portugal next to a lake and a beautiful woodland. I will be offering in this retreat meditation, yoga, cacao ceremony and have breathwork specialist Craig Seaton and sound bath technician Amy Azari coming along with me to provide everything you need to completely replenish your soul. As well as the above, the guys at Stark also have extensive knowledge in fitness and nutrition, which will be included in the itinerary. On site, there is mountain biking, paddle boards, kayaking, or maybe you would like to just chill by the poolside. This is your time, so you decide. All welcome. Share the love. The retreat dates are from the 7th of May 2022 to the 14th of May 2022 for 7 nights. Please click the link below to find out more details on how to book or reserve your place. So Marie, welcome.
Thank you. Very grateful to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. The Harmonic Egg. What a revelation.
Yeah.
A wonderful experience I had in the egg as well. That you asked me to have a go of it, and I'll definitely want to have another go because it was so beautiful. So yeah, tell us about it.
Tell you about the Harmonic Egg. So I brought the Harmonic Egg from America to the UK. So the first Harmonic Egg in the UK. So I came... Let's start at the beginning. So about 10 years ago, my marriage broke down.
Yeah.
And I think that was my dark night of the soul then. As with, I'm sure, a lot of people who can relate to things like grief, divorce, all those kind of things, you go to a very low place. And it's often when we go to those low places that, you know, in spiritual terms, we're cracked wide open. And we have what's called a dark night of the soul. And I started basically meditating about 10 years ago, getting into all of those kind of things, meditation and really connecting with my spiritual side, which is who I was anyway.
Who we all are.
Who we all are
Yeah.
at source.
Yeah.
You know, we're born in that way. We just, well, the minute we come into this world, we download stuff from our parents, from the media, from our
And even
communities.
past lives that we don't even realise.
Yeah, and we go to sleep, I think, for many years, which I did. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that as well. And so I started reconnecting with all those subjects again, meditation, spirituality, all those kind of things. And then I started getting really interested in neuroscience, how the brain works, how the mind works, how that influences our behaviours, our thoughts, our actions, all of those kind of things. Now, I knew from the things that I was interested in that between the ages of 0 and 7 is when our brain waves, are the softest. When we come into this life, we literally, like I said before, we're just blank pages and we just download from everything around us.
Yeah.
When we get to about 7/8, we're pretty much hardwired then. And then that carries you through for the rest of your life.
Subconscious.
Yeah, all stored in your subconscious, which is where that saying comes from. give me a boy at 7 and I'll show
right.
you the man.
Yeah.
You know, it's referring to the brainwaves being the softest, hardwired, and then moving forward. So, you know, we think, you know, why we act the way we do. Well, it's all stored in our subconscious, which is 95% of why we act the way we do, why we think, why we behave. It's just that 5%. Like at the moment, me and you are talking very much in the present. We're operating from that 5%. But 95% of the time, we're operating in subconscious mode.
Yeah, crazy.
That's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So when you understand that, and then you start to get a handle on the fact that, well, hang on, if I'm operating 95% of the time from my subconscious, what the hell's in my subconscious?
Yeah.
What have I downloaded from birth up until 7 that's influencing everything I do? So basically, fast forward
And not many people actually remember what happens between 0 to 7, do you? Anyways, what your parents said to you. And it can be, I mean, I've learned about this myself with regards to the belief coding as well that Jess has created and going into your subconscious to change them belief systems and the limitations that have been set. But yeah, it's just so fascinating. It's possible to do, but it's...
you can unwire it, definitely. It's tricky
takes
and it takes time,
yeah.
but you can unwire it. But I think just having that knowledge of that's why we behave the way we do is fascinating. Anyway, as I say, fast forward about 10 years, I've got 2 children. I started getting concerned with the amount of anxiety and depression in our youngsters, our teenagers. And
which is absolutely rife right now as well.
Through the roof.
Yeah.
And this was about 3 years ago. And I started thinking, what the hell's going on? Every time I speak to somebody, they're saying, yeah, my one's suffering from anxiety, my one's suffering from depression. And I was thinking, what is going on? And as a mother, and I'm sure you can appreciate this and relate to this, there is no stone that you don't turn over looking for a solution to help your children when they're suffering. And being much more of a holistic person, attuned to Reiki and all those kind of things, didn't necessarily want to go down the pharmaceutical route. Big pharma, biggest money maker on the planet, and not knocking conventional medicine. It has its place and it's wonderful. But we're just treating symptoms all the time.
Yeah.
We're not getting to the root of the cause of what's going on in the body, which is very much influenced by trauma and past life experiences. Also, it can be passed down from generation to generation to generation. Trauma literally stores in the tissues of the body.
Yeah.
Now, that's really powerful.
Is it Gabor Mate says, trauma is not what happens to us, it's what happened to us because of the trauma we suffer. So it happens within the body, So it's, like you say, that's what's happening in the storing in the cells of the body.
Yeah. So I knew from my divorce 10 years ago, it was majorly traumatic.
I bet.
Majorly traumatic because
I think people underestimate how
powerful it is, a
divorce
traumatic
affects.
is, yeah. I mean, we were all traumatised, the 4 of us, because we were, quite a close little unit. So we were all traumatised, all of us. And
because it was a sudden thing.
Yeah, because it was quite unexpected. Well, I didn't see it coming anyway. So I knew trauma had affected all of us, and particularly, the kids at that younger age, it will have stored in the tissues of the body. And at some point, somewhere down the line, as with many people, it's going to manifest in some way, shape or form, somewhere. Anyway, so it did in the form of anxiety, depression, all of those kind of things. So I was constantly looking for things that would help. And I came across the Harmonic egg in America, and it absolutely blew me away.
So were you in America when you...
No, I was just, as I say, as a mum, just doing everything. I'm a researcher, researching the ass out of everything, trying to find a solution, what would help that wasn't pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Came across the Harmonic egg in America.
All credit to you for doing that, by the way, because some people, we sort of have that undeniable trust in pharmaceutical and medical industry, don't we? And doctors and nurses, that they're giving us the best thing for us every single time, when there's so much more alternative therapy out there
Absolutely.
that's just been closed off from us, isn't there?
Absolutely.
The majority of people just take and accept it and not look beyond that because, the doctor knows best. But now we're finding out the doctor doesn't always know best.
Yeah, and again, this isn't a slate on conventional medicine. It's wonderful. It has its
it's okay
place.
to even say that. I wouldn't be too... It's not about slate, like you say, it's not about slating it, but there is alternatives.
There's
isn't there?
alternatives in every walk of life. We just need to open up our minds and explore. I mean, you look at the medication, the side effects for depression medication, and it says can cause suicidal tendencies. What?
This is what
This
I mean.
is for somebody
I know.
who's possibly
It's
depressed and it can cause
crazy.
suicidal tendencies. Isn't that a little bit dodgy?
And
Given somebody-
Tanya coming on, her ADHD tablets.
Yeah.
I've just had her on, and she's just saying that on the contraindication, the list of side effects, it said can cause death. So people are not looking at this and thinking, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't take that.
Yeah.
They're just willingly taking it, like not looking for this just blows my mind.
I
Blows
know,
my mind.
I know. So I started researching into the harmonic egg and all about sound healing and what sound does to the body. And then we had a global pandemic. So during lockdown, I started studying anatomy and physiology just so I understood more about the body and how sound affects the body. And I just thought, I'm a single divorced woman. There's absolutely no way I can afford to buy a harmonic egg.
Yeah.
Take it from America, bring it to the UK. Nobody's heard of it. Nobody knows what can do. What a ridiculous idea. But that thought of potentially how it could help people and what it could do just never, ever left me. And no matter how many times I tried to shove it under the carpet, it just kept bubbling back up and up and up. And I just thought, well, okay, someone's trying to tell me something here. So I asked for very specific signs, and I said, if I'm supposed to be doing this, you've got to give me some clear signs here because I'm terrified because this is really quite a financial commitment.
Yeah.
So I asked for 3 very specific signs, of which I got all of them.
What were they?
So I asked for... So my dad passed away almost 10 years ago, and I said, I want my dad to come to me in a dream.
Wow. Don't ask
And
for
just,
much.
don't ask for much. It didn't have to be, all dramatic.
Yeah.
Just, I wanted him to come to me in a dream.
Yeah.
Because that's only ever happened once in 10 years.
Okay.
I also asked to see an image of a very clear image of an egg somewhere. Now, I don't mean in Tesco's down the aisle. That's too easy. I wanted to see a very specific image of an egg.
And it wasn't Easter.
And it wasn't Easter. Nothing on the shelves. And I wanted to see a feather. Now, feathers are everywhere in my garden. There's loads of birds in my garden. So I wanted to see a feather somewhere where I wouldn't expect to see a feather. Okay. So I got all 3.
Where did you see the egg then? Oh, go on. Sorry, you.
So my dad came to me in a dream. It wasn't, all singing, all dancing. He was just pottering about in my garden. That's all he was doing. And it was just the back of him. He was on his knees pottering about in the garden. But he was a big gardener anyway. So that was 1, tick. The feather, I found a white feather right next to the oven door on the floor of the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
So that was quite an unusual place to find a feather. And then I was doing some research somewhere along the line and on somebody's website, and I came across a full page of the most amazing image of huge eggs. It's a beautiful piece of art, and women inside the egg, sort of like in the fetal position, and the egg was all sort of cracked open, and there was all water pouring out of the egg. So it was really quite a stunning, artistic image of eggs, lots of eggs with all these women in them. So I thought, okay, I think that's the 3 signs. Tick, tick, tick.
Okay.
So anyway, long story short, before you know it, lots of phone calls to America and Zooms and whatnot. There's an egg on the ocean on its way to the UK in the middle of a pandemic. Not sort of, we didn't really know because of all the regulations and restrictions with everything that the virus has affected. Not really sure when it was going to arrive. Anyway, it arrived. Talk about divine timing. It arrived end of April. And I opened the doors the 1st of May, just as we came out of lockdown.
Wow.
And my first clients came all the way from London.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, so during that whole lockdown period, I was just researching the power of sound and what sound actually does to the body. So I understood it, crystal clear. And what I love about this is nothing new, Leanne. This is nothing new. The ancients have been using sound to heal the body since millennia, since time began.
Of course.
All these ancient indigenous tribes, you know, the Aboriginals being renowned for using the didgeridoo. People don't understand the didgeridoo because the vibrational frequency of the sounds healed broken bones. That's why they used it.
Wow.
So when you start going down a rabbit hole like I have done for the last few years about what sound does and how it affects the body, it's absolutely phenomenal. And when you think that in the field, our human eyes only pick up less than 5%, I think it's about 2% of what's actually going on in the field.
Yeah.
So what the hell is going on in the field that we just can't pick up with our eyes as humans? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. It's full of energy.
Yeah.
It's full of sound waves. It's full of light waves. It's all stuff in the quantum field that is absolutely brimming with information that we just can't see.
Can't access it because we've been so closed off to it.
We have, absolutely. Yeah. And sound is a frequency. You know, the universe started with a big bang. So sound is omnipresent. It's everywhere and always has been. Always. When you think of a child in the womb, a fetus, it relies solely on sound vibrational frequencies to grow, to nurture, and to interpret what's going on from its environment and the mother. So the body is very used to sound frequencies. We all vibrate at frequencies, all of us.
Well, you think about the Om sound, I've had the Om sound, and the chanting, the word, the Om is to rebalance and connect, isn't it? And there's just so much power in it, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, going back to sound is everywhere in the universe. Everything has what's called a resonant frequency. So this chair has a frequency at which it vibrates. We do as people. Everything that you can physically touch, all matter, vibrates at a frequency.
So this is so mind-blowing when you start to bring the concept of like everything is just vibrating. It's an energy, isn't it? And what makes it like solid? What makes it like to us to be able to touch something or our bodies?
Yeah, and this is hard to get your head around. This kind of these subjects, but when you delve deeper into it, basically we are just living in almost like a virtual reality. And sort of information in the field is in the form of sound waves, light waves. Everything exists already in the field, and when we align our vibrational frequency to what we want in life, it literally manifests as reality. And that's really hard to get your head around. But when you start really exploring sound waves, sounds, what it does to the body, it just absolutely blows your mind. And given that the body is made up 2/3 of water, when you put your body in an environment like the harmonic egg that runs on light and sound, vibrational frequencies, it affects the body at a cellular level, period. It's scientific fact. Now, I think it was in the 1980s, something like that. Baltimore University did a study on a control group of women with cancer, breast cancer. 2 groups. One were made to listen to violin music for a certain amount of hours, the others not. All of the women in this control group who listened to violin music, all of their tumours shrunk.
Wow.
Now that is the power of sound on the body.
Yeah.
You know,
like Masaru Emoto, the
Dr. Emoto.
With the water experiments and how they form the crystallizations of them just through like praying with intent, with love, and then obviously on the other side saying hate and you make me sick, and the variation of the how the water distorts with, you know, the negative impacts of them thoughts and sounds and music as well, obviously, of course. It's just...
well, you might have seen on YouTube and things like that, there's lots of things flashing around on YouTube where there's a flat surface that have iron filings poured all over it, and then they're blasted sound. And then those filings make beautiful, like geometric shapes, which are just like, what?
Well, that brings us to the the flower of life, the sacred geometry.
Yeah, so the whole design of the egg, I mean, people look at the harmonic egg and go, oh my God, I think like you said, it looks like something off Mork and Mindy. It looks like a UFO.
I'm showing my age when I'm saying Mork and Mindy, like, but Jacob doesn't know what that is, do you? No. Nanu. I used to love it.
So the harmonic egg in its design is all based on Tesla mathematics and sacred geometry. So if anyone is aware of Nikola Tesla, long gone now, but very famously said, if you understand the significance of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you can literally unlock the secrets of the universe. He also said the future of medicine is light, vibration, frequency, and energy.
Wow.
And Einstein famously said, frequency is the medicine of the future.
Wow.
So that is exactly what the harmonic egg is. It's all frequency, sound, light, vibration to affect the body. Wow. So it's the whole design of the egg is dodecahedron in shape. So in other words, it's 12-sided. It's egg shaped, but it's got 12 sides to it. So 12, 1 + 2 = 3. So inside of the harmonic egg, you sit on a chair, which is on a platform, a hexagonal.
Can we get a picture of it up, Jacob? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So inside the egg, the chair sits on a hexagonal platform, which is 6 sides. So there you've got your 6. And then when that door shuts and the music starts, you are surrounded by 360 degrees of sound and light. 3 + 6 = 9. So there you go. You've got your 3, 6, 9 formula there. It's also made of wood to help the acoustics of the music, the vibrational music. Now, inside the egg, there's no Bluetooth, there's no internet. It's pure sound. And all the music composed for the egg is specifically composed for the egg. It's not music you're going to hear anywhere else. And the great thing about that is because we often have attachments to music, don't we? Like memories and attachments.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want that. We want you to go in there like a blank page, be affected by the sounds, because different sounds, different instruments will activate different parts of the body. So, for example, if you're coming for PTSD and you're suffering from PTSD, which I do have a few clients, you'll be predominantly listening to water sounds, because water sounds really help with PTSD. So lots of different sounds affect different parts of the body. What I also ask you to do when you come to the egg is have an intention. Have an intention about what you want from this healing journey, because the power of intention is massive. I'm just about to embark on a year-long course with a renowned science journalist in America called Lynn McTaggart on the power of intention.
Really?
It's massive.
Huge,
Science-backed, absolutely science-backed. It's all, again, information in the field. It's all quantum science. So when I ask my clients, what's your intention for this session? I then state the intention for them as well as them stating it before I leave the room, because the power of 2 people with that intention is much more powerful than 1.
It's a bit like the Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
I can say it wrong. Setting that intention of healing whatever you want to heal and taking responsibility, sending it back with love. I suppose it's the same concept of how powerful that energy is to create that intention just for whatever you want to let go of, I suppose.
Absolutely.
And heal within yourself or other people.
Yeah, and luckily enough, we're entering, as a species, we are entering a completely new phase in life, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard of this phrase, we're waking up, people are woke.
The Great Awakening.
The Great Awakening. It's true.
Yeah.
We are entering a completely different phase in life when all of these ancient methods that have been around since time began are coming to the surface again. And people are going, remembering.
Yes, because it's the Industrial Revolution. I was just watching a thing and they were saying that's when they sort of like thrown religion and science, like it was just like, it was all about science and religion and, what was the other thing?
Education.
No. What was it now? Religion and spirituality. They sort of put that to one side and said it's all about the science.
Yeah.
And that's what they pushed. And then obviously that's when the beginning of them to dumb us down in effect and brand everyone a bit mental if they thought that consciousness was a thing, because they said it was just part of the brain and collective consciousness doesn't exist. And even though it's been proven, we're still sort of, so many scientists, trust the science, are living in that, you know, that belief, or pushing that belief that consciousness is just a part of the brain and it doesn't exist as an energy and there is no power behind it. But we know different, don't we?
Oh my
we know
God.
Different.
What people don't understand is that science and spirituality are completely and utterly inextricably linked.
Yes.
You look at all the major spiritual global pioneers out there, they are all scientists first.
Yeah, and
It's
then they
all
do the switch
physics.
over, don't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
quantum physics, neuroscience, yeah,
It's
definitely.
all so related, and you know, it's so fascinating. But consciousness is really a hard thing to articulate, really. What is consciousness? And I think people always struggle to explain what is consciousness. It's almost like it's the real essence of who you are.
Yeah.
It's
Our
the bit that's
soul.
not physical.
Yeah.
You know, we are pieces of consciousness. We are spirit just in physical bodies. This is just our little vehicle, isn't it? That
Yeah.
navigates
Yeah,
us
of
through
course.
life.
Yeah.
But the consciousness part is the bit that's eternal. That's the bit that continues to live way after we die.
Yeah.
Constantly. It's, you know, energy cannot be destroyed
No.
ever in the universe. And we are made up of energy.
Yeah, we are
So we
eternal.
constantly live on. We just keep coming down in different bodies.
Yeah, of course. But then there's a theory that we're being recycled. Our souls are being recycled and sent back down, and we're not supposed to be recycled, and we're supposed to go up to be light beings. But there's lots of different theories. I mean, my mind is just it's so open, but so blown in sort of which one to accept as the which is real, do you know what I mean? So it's like some people don't believe in space, some people don't believe in the moon, people believe we're in the Matrix. Now I'm just thinking, after watching the Matrix and seeing all this metaverse that's now Mark Zuckerberg's wanting to have everyone hooked up to virtual reality and like control your thoughts and your brain and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
For me, when I watched the Matrix, I watched the first one again before I watched I watched it after I watched the one that's just come out, and it sort of all clicked. For me, I felt like, the penny dropped.
Yeah.
So that was made like it was 200 years in the future. And when they tell the story of how they got there, how they're harvesting the humans in the Matrix and they're in the pods, it was because AI was introduced. And when it was introduced, they discovered that, obviously it got powerful, and then they discovered that they could just harvest humans and live off their energy. So to me, if you think that was made 20 years ago, the first Matrix, and it was set like it was 200 years in the future, imagine this metaverse now is being introduced and people that fall into the trap of like, that's a good idea, you know. I mean, it just blows my mind. Anyone would think it's a good idea.
It is absolutely mind-blowing when you start going down all these rabbit holes.
Metaverse Matrix, like the fact that it's like M&M, do you know, and Matrix apparently means mother, and they're trying to create sort of a motherly, because they're creating life, aren't they? We already know that they can grow babies in a pod, in a fake womb. That's been well documented from probably a lot longer than recent as well, because I've seen really old pictures of them doing it as well. So that's where I feel that's come from, and that's the concept of what's been tried to push, the reality that's been trying to push to create the Matrix.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the message in that film, in all the films, is that love is the almighty powerful, love conquers all.
Absolutely. And, I don't know whether you mentioned it or whatever, but in my office, I've got this big framed piece on the wall that, basically says, someday this will all make sense. But, it's a big page, but at the bottom, and this is truly how I feel, and this is true, this is how it is. Love will always conquer everything. Love is the highest vibrational frequency we can resonate as human beings. There is a scale.
500, the emotional
yeah.
scale of consciousness.
There is an
David
emotional scale.
Hawkins.
Yeah, definitely.
Just reading his book at the minute, actually. I had Phil on here, a friend of mine, and he talks in depth about it. He's, but yeah.
So anger, guilt, shame, fear, they are way down on the vibrational scale.
Yeah.
What we vibrate at. Love and gratitude being high up there on the highest vibrational scale. And, you know, no matter how difficult life gets, and it does get difficult. I mean, God, the last 2 years alone have just spun us all into a frenzy. You know, the whole planet has been in absolute fear for 2 years.
Yeah.
So what's that done? Really lowered the vibrational frequency of our bodies. What happens when we're in fear? Well, I tell you what happens. Our body floods with cortisol. What does cortisol do to the body?
Stress.
It lowers the immune system.
Yeah.
Stress, we're all in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
We're all in what's called the sympathetic. And basically that weakens the body, leaves you wide open to get illness and dis-ease into the body.
Yeah.
So we need to higher our vibration to love and gratitude. And I know it's hard to do sometimes, but I'm always saying to my clients, you know, when the shit hits the fan and when things aren't going great and we all suffer from it, and there's nobody that walks this earth, and I don't care who you are or how good your life looks, everybody has trauma.
Yeah.
Everybody has emotional trauma to some degree. You've just got to concentrate on the really simple things to higher your vibration, whatever that is. And it's different for everybody. Whether that's cuddling your dog, that's what it is in our family. We've got a 1-year-old puppy and we adore her. And that highes our vibration.
Yeah.
Walking out in nature basically is my thing.
Well, grounding is like the eons that come from the earth that we just so overlooked. You know, that's, you know,
nature
it's
gives
there.
off the highest powerful energy ever.
Yeah.
Just bathe yourself in it. Go for a walk, go to the forest, do whatever. But whatever you're doing, raise your vibration. And then basically it's the universal law of attraction, isn't it? Whatever your vibration, whatever your frequency you're putting out there, you're pulling back more of the same.
Yeah.
So when you're in sheer, you know, guilt, shame, fear, toxicity, all of those vibrational frequencies, guess what your life's going to be full of? Much of the same.
Of course.
So higher your vibration to love, gratitude, all of those things, and watch more of the same, pour right in. It's hard sometimes, I know, you know.
Yeah, I was talking last night on my live about how everything is coexisting. You know, you were saying before about time is coexisting. Every single reality, that possible outcome is coexisting simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I was, going back to Phil again, who's been, because we've having a bit of a disagreement, he was like, everyone needs to do non-doership. I don't know what your view, that the fact that he believes that we get in the way of ourselves and what our path is, and we don't have any control. And I'm like, but there has to be an element of control, because how do we promote the fact that we can create our own reality and we can channel the reality that we want and jump the timelines and, you know, but he seems to think that that's a tiny flicker of ego that allows you to do that, but ultimately everything is laid out for you, which I suppose if everything's already laid out in a timeline, in a different timelines, that is, you know, what he's saying realistically. It's your actions.
Yeah,
your actions that are going to funnel into whichever timeline you take him. But then he sort of talks about, he wonders what would happen if he just meditated. You know, like monks just meditate and they're just not in the way of themselves, because sometimes our actions get in the way of our path.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's about the journey, isn't it? That's about the experience that we have to have here. And again, I was chatting last week on my meditation about we are not our experiences. And I think once we sort of realise that we are only the watcher of them, if you will, the observer of them, and not be attached to whichever experience, whether it be good, bad or ugly, whether we've not proud of something, whether we're proud of something, whether somebody's hurt us, but we get attached to those, again, going back to the subconscious. And it's about pulling back and being able to, you know, we just to know that we are not our experiences, and to sort of let them go, to be able to move on or live in the present and open our perception to the reality that we wish to channel.
And again, it's a really hard subject to get your head round, isn't it? And I know what you mean, and I know what Phil's referring to, in that every possibility that ever could exist for your life runs simultaneously in parallel universes.
Yes.
So every single outcome is all running together at the same time, which is like, when you try and get your head around that, it's like, what?
It's like sliding doors.
It's like sliding doors.
Yeah.
So what we need to understand is, as a species, we have free will.
Yeah.
And free will, and depending on what you believe and whatever, you've just got to do what resonates with you, I think, and where your energy flows, and on what you resonate with, and kind of follow that route, really, because there's that much out there, isn't there? It can get a little bit,
Be open to, what did Wayne Dyer say? Be open to everything and attached to nothing.
Yeah.
That's a good
and just go with the flow. And sometimes they do contradict each other, all these theories, don't they? And the fact that, yes, we can create our reality, but you're saying that Phil's saying
we don't have any control over it.
We don't have any control on it.
But then I think if you promote that, people are like, well, I'm not doing anything, then I'm just going to sit and wait for something to happen to me. And that's not really what he's saying. He's not saying don't do anything and just expect £1 million to fall into your lap. That's not what it's about. But ultimately, it's just, I suppose, just following your intuition and what resonates with you, and where you, like you did, give me a sign. About connecting, isn't it?
It's about connecting completely. And you know what? Intuition, that is such a massive, massive deal for us as human beings. We have a really strong gut instinct. I always say to my kids,
this gets in the way.
Follow your intuition, follow your gut instinct. It's your own personal sat nav. That's the way I think of it. It will tell you which road to go down. It'll tell you, we've all been in situations where you think, this just doesn't feel right. It just, whether that's a job or whatever.
We've all been there as well. We've not listened to it.
We've not listened to it. That is your gut instinct saying, and the universe saying, you ain't supposed to be there. You're supposed to be here. I mean, God knows how many jobs I've done over the years. And I used to beat myself up. I used to think, God, I seem to get a year into a job and I'm like, I've lost that energy for it. I've lost the motivation. I've lost the will. I firmly believe that's your gut instinct going, you're supposed to be over there.
Because life's not supposed to be hard. No. This is the concept of, this is what's ingrained, where we're conditioned to believe that life is tough. Life is, when you're working, you've got to work all the hours God send. You've got to, break your back to create the life that you want. And then you get there and it's like, it's not meant to be like that. You're supposed to do something that resonates with you, that makes your heart sing, that you absolutely love, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And when you do that, they say you don't have to work a day in your life. And it's definitely not meant to be us here, eat, work, sleep, repeat, work, sleep, repeat.
And you know what? So many people out there think that that's all there is to life. You get up, you go to work, you go on holiday, you come back. Hang on a minute, just stop. There's a whole world, a whole universe up there that if you just tap into it, you can literally create things in your own life. I mean, God, if you'd have said to me 18 months ago, you're going to bring a harmonic egg, nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what it can do. It's going to start healing people's bodies. It's the future of science and medicine. I would have been like, what? How? I don't even know this exists. But I had a real passion and a frequency to want to help and make a difference and heal, at a natural level. And given everything that I'm interested in, at a spiritual level, it just all came to fruition. It manifested somehow. And
a few people have said, like, when I posted about the egg, saying, have you heard of the med beds? That they're saying, what's the film that, what is it that I've just watched? And they go up to the surface and they've got to get on the beds, and it like completely heals the body. But it is like a real futuristic thing where it just scans the body. It can heal broken bones and everything. So basically we're resorting the egg to the med bed, which is amazing. And just going back to the sound healing, we were saying it's been around for centuries. I was watching was watching something that was about different, all the basically suppressed technology that over the years, and people that have been murdered or assassinated or gone missing, you know, that have been the cures for cancer, Dr. Sebi, and you know, there was a guy that's actually running a retreat, and I can't remember where it is. I think it is in America somewhere, and he does sound healing, and he's been healing people of like 3rd stage cancer, 4th stage cancer. And they were basically going and arresting him. I think he said he'd been arrested 35 times or something.
Wow.
And they kept shutting him down because they don't want a cure for cancer. There's too much money to be
Makes
made.
far too much
Again,
money,
it's a
yeah.
business. And sadly, it is a business. And even like things like chemotherapy, and I know, again, not slating, I know it's healed people and I know it's done amazing, but also it's still puts so much stress on the body and the way it works and everything. And if people were just open to seeing that there is more than just that, and I was going to say as well, I've seen a video, what I just mentioned before we started, about the Buddhist monks, and they were it was a friend of mine that told me about it, and I actually seen the video, and they do this chanting, again, it's sound, and on the screen there's a tumour in this lady. And again, everybody has to, like the lady has to be open to it. She has to believe that she can heal as well as them. And they're all doing the chanting. And you see this tumour, they're doing this mad sound, and you see this tumour shrinking on the screen within minutes, like literally within minutes. And then I just clicked on the Lost Symbol, Dan Brown's Lost Symbol, which is a new series on Sky. And lo and behold, one of the first scenes on there is a lady in a lab, and they've got all these monks sat around, and there's a patient, and she's watching on this screen the cells, and she's saying, yeah, the cells are almost all now regenerated. So it's like, again, you know, I believe that everything we see on TV, like when they put it through movies, and like even The Matrix, and people say, well, if the bad guys are in charge of in control of what we see, and Netflix and all, like the films and everything, why would they tell you that love conquers all? Why would they give you that message? And I believe because universal law tells you that they have to show you exactly, they have to show you the truth, and it's what you do with the truth, and free will, whether you use that to better yourself or get out of the situation that we're in and improve ourselves and open our minds and be able to heal ourselves. We're going a bit too woo-woo.
Yeah, well,
you're like looking at me like
no, definitely not. You know, I'm like you know, you can woo-hoo all you want as far as I'm concerned. I love all that. And you know, it's absolutely true. And you know, the point of the matter is, in the universe, positive and negative always exist.
Yeah.
There's no getting away from it. It's the way the universe works. We have to have positive and we have to have a negative.
Yeah.
Polarity, one cannot exist without the other.
Of course.
So, you know, we just need to tune in to wherever our free will is and see what happens. And the light will always outshine the dark.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I hope so. No, I know it will. I know. I do believe that we are ending the darkness. Definitely.
You know, I'm going back to a point that you made before about, you know, all things that have been suppressed over the years. I mean, referring back to Nikola Tesla again, you know, he brought about energy and electricity. Free. It can be free. Electricity, energy, all of those things can be free. But as soon as he said to them, this can be free, it's free, we don't need to charge for it, he got slammed right the way down, shut down, disappeared off the face of the earth. Yeah. Unfortunately, Nikola Tesla died penniless. Yeah. Because he said, this can be free, energy can be free, electricity can be free. Yeah. That ain't going to make any money, is it? No. So let's shut him down.
Have you seen the Lost History of Earth, the documentary?
No.
I'll have to send it to you. It's like 5 hours long, but it goes really in depth into you know, the lost history of Earth, basically, and the free energy, and that it was existing. And with the conductors, if you look at all the spires, they reckon that, you know, the domes on the churches and things, they were all conductors of free energy. and they were shut down because they didn't want that. They wanted to take over and then charge everybody and basically enslave us, which is what has been happening.
Absolutely, absolutely. And going back to sound again and sound healing, and how powerful sound is. The ancient Egyptian pyramids.
Oh, well,
how were the pyramids
built?
Well, I tell you why. They were built with sound frequency.
Yeah. Levitation. Yeah.
Sound can literally levitate
Stay
matter.
with us, guys. Stay with us.
Come on, don't lose us. So the pyramids were built through sound frequency. That is amazing.
Yeah.
If you can build pyramids
and
with
again,
sound.
if you can give us another explanation of that, because let me tell you, the slaves didn't carry them with bloody ropes, dragging them for however many miles down the road for the stone of how many tons they weighed, and stacked them up on top of each other. And they took 20 years to build, did they say? Would mean they'd have to move so many 100 bricks a day or something like that.
Come on.
It's just, but we just never even thought to put two and two together and actually go, hang on a minute, that doesn't sound right, because we've just been told at school this is what to believe. And when they indoctrinate us, not educate us, indoctrinate us and condition us into believing a certain story, we don't think to question it.
No, you've got to question
Everything.
absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Question. Even what's in the history books.
Yeah.
Even the history books have been manipulated for a certain purpose. You've
The
got to
Bible.
question everything.
Yeah.
And going back to the pyramids, the pyramids throughout the earth, all over the globe, they all align with the Orion star system. All of them. What? How did they do that? That's no coincidence, because they're supposed to be energy portals, absolute energy portals, the pyramids. And if you go into the pyramids, all the hieroglyphs on the walls of the pyramids show images of UFOs, what looked like helicopters and submarines. I'm telling you, the ancients were way more advanced than us. Way more advanced.
100%.
We think we're rocking it. We're way behind where they used to be.
Well, we can't recreate the buildings that are built, can we?
No.
All the most intricate, most beautiful temples, and in Rome, the fountains, the sculptures,
Leonardo da Vinci, going back to sacred geometry, that's all, the basis of his artwork, and the chapels and everything like that, all to do with sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is mirrored in life, in our body, in nature. It all goes back to the same mathematical formula, as does sound, with hertz and frequencies and vibrations. So when you start looking into all of these subjects, sacred geometry, vibration, frequency, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
There's so much more to this universe than meets the eye.
Yeah.
So much more than what I've been led to believe.
Yeah.
You just need to start researching it and be open-minded.
And saying about the going back to the egg, saying how somebody said to you, this isn't from this planet,
No.
this has been downloaded.
Yeah, whether you come to the egg for a spiritual aspect or whether you're coming with a very real medical condition, the beauty of it is the egg treats both, because I think most people do understand that we are mind, body and spirit. We are not separate. We are holistic. We are whole. It's all very much interconnected. We are not our minds. We are not our thoughts. They're just things that run round on a loop. And the body needs to be treated as a whole. So what the egg does is it treats you at a cellular level, but it also expands the consciousness as well. So it's expanding the mind and it's treating the body, because we are all of it together. Yeah. So I've had quite a few clients who maybe come in more of a spiritual angle and have said to me, you do realise that the egg is technology from another planet, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I have been told that.
The lady that made it, the
lady, Gail Lynn, who is the inventor of the harmonic egg in America, great lady, same age as me, power to the women. Yeah.
Divine feminine.
Stepping right forward there. She says, I just downloaded the information. It already
seems to be
exists.
happening a lot lately, doesn't it?
There's and the great thing about it, because there's eggs all over America now, they're going all around the world now as well. We all get together on Zoom quite regularly, all the egg guardians.
Egg guardians, I love that. I love that.
And what seems to be happening is they seem to be getting more and more powerful. The more eggs there are, again, we're talking quantum physics now and information in the field, they seem to be getting more powerful.
Wow.
Which is phenomenal.
When you say what more powerful, what do you mean by that?
People are having really strong experiences, which I know. I mean, I've only been up and running 8 months yet. It's still very early days. But what I love and what I get a real buzz out of is seeing the change in people. Seeing how it's helping them from a medical point of view and seeing how it's altering their energy and their frequency. I get umpteen messages of people that say to me, oh my God, this has happened since I've been in the egg. And oh my God, I felt this and I can't tell you how different I feel. And, you know, I call it the ripple effect. It's like it will change your energy for the better. And then you go away and that has a ripple effect on the people around you because your energy's changed. That will be affecting your loved ones, your nearest and dearest. And then slowly but surely, you know, we are raising the consciousness of the planet, you know, by what we're all doing here.
Yeah. And on the going back to the emotional scale of consciousness and saying, you know, when you vibrate at 500, which is of love, apparently you can affect nearly 500,000 people just by existing. So if you imagine that's raising people's energy and everybody in their energy field, it's massive.
And going back to
we
now, absolutely do. And going back to sound again, you know, when you look at music over the generations, over the years, over the decades, music's the sound and the frequency and the vibration of music has changed all the time. Like the music that we listened to in the 40s and 50s is very different than the music that we listened to in the 80s. Now there's very famous studies like from the Rolling Stones and things like that that have said the music they battered out back in the day, certain music will have an effect on a group collective. It can make you more aggressive.
Well, we know that again by the Emoto. Heavy metal. And,
heavy metal.
You know, even just the sound of it. But obviously the 432, they changed it, didn't they? They changed the frequency of music.
Yeah, they did.
What would be the reason for that, for the detriment of people?
Well, somebody said, I was watching something not so long ago that said... Now, don't quote me on this because I haven't done loads of research on it, but it was Hitler who changed a certain frequency of sound. I think it was originally 440 hertz. That was really in tune with the body. And, you know, he changed it to, I think it was 432 or something. I don't know. I might not have those correct, but why?
Yeah.
Because it's affecting something. It's not aligning with who our true frequency is, what our true frequency is.
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was 432 changed to 440. Was it the way around?
I think it was the other way around, but
Really?
I might be wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
I need to do more research on that. But and there's again a famous study whereby in these, not knocking heavy metal if you're into heavy metal, but the sound frequency that emits from those concerts, a raw egg was placed on the stage, on the amps, and it literally cooked within minutes, well, less than a minute probably, to a hard-boiled egg through the sound and frequency. What's that actually doing to your brain?
Oh, my God.
What is that? It's literally cooking your brain and the cells in your brain.
Shit, yeah.
So, you know, you've got to be very conscious about sound, you know, at a detrimental level as well as a healing level.
Yeah.
You know, anything that you listen to at too high a decibel can have a really detrimental effect on your health.
Yeah.
You know, because there's strict protocol with the egg as to what decibel you listen to it, you know, inside the egg. Very strict protocols.
So there's only one chair in the egg, so only one person goes in at a time. So that, I suppose that would explain how different it is to a group sound healing session, I suppose, with the crystal bowls and the gongs and things like that, because they're all still penetrate on a cellular level, they're still healing. But when there's got lots of different people in the room and different energies, I suppose it's not specifically for personally you, which again, when you were telling me that, showing me the book of all the different music composed for each individual
case.
Yeah.
So whether it's a brain tumour, whether it's anxiety, stress, PTSD, something neurological, you name it, there's a set of music and different colours that will treat that condition. So basically what we're trying to do is address the nervous system. So the nervous system runs right throughout the body. It's like the master control system, if you like. When that nervous system is out of whack, out of balance, it's in what's called a sympathetic state. So when the nervous system is in a sympathetic state, it's in fight or flight mode. It's your heart rate variability will be low and you'll be out of sync, and your vibrational frequency will be out of sync. That is a prime environment for disease to manifest, dis-ease to manifest. So by putting you in the egg and realigning the frequency through sound, we are starting to move the body into what's called a parasympathetic state. So it's more of a rest and digest phase, it's called. Nothing to do with food. It just means the nervous system is getting into what's called homeostasis. It's its baseline status, so nice, even and controlled. When the body is in homeostasis fully, it begins to self-heal.
Wow.
That's magic.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand the power of human potential.
Yes.
We are so powerful as a species.
Yes.
We really are. And we
this.
just literally scratch the surface
Yeah.
of our potential.
100%. I'm all there. Yeah, definitely.
It's mad. We
It
just
is.
need to tap into it.
Yeah, and open our minds to the possibility
Yeah.
of everything.
Absolutely everything. Yeah. It's a universe brimming with possibility.
Yeah. Well, wow. On that note,
We could go on forever.
yeah.
couldn't we?
Well, we could. Yeah, but I think is there anything else that you want to say about the egg before?
No, I mean, check it out. Check out
Yeah,
the
please do.
website.
Definitely
it's
check
all
it
the
out.
W's, harmonicegghealing.co.uk. I'm based in Chester. Just drop me a message. Come
Yeah.
and see me and open yourself up to sound healing.
Yeah. And you won't be disappointed. Do you have anybody that's actually been regular with any serious condition like cancer? Like you said,
Yeah,
brain
I mean,
tumour
I've
or
got
anything?
quite a few clients who are on cancer recovery journeys and that are dovetailing the harmonic egg with conventional methods, which is fine to do as well. Chemotherapy and using sound healing. It's a very personal choice as to which route you go down. I've had a client who, and a lot of my clients have severe emotional trauma. I'm talking sort of like sexual trauma or things like that, who are one particular client who was on medication and had been for a long time. High stress, high anxiety, came with her mum first time she came to me. Didn't really even have eye contact with me. She was that anxious. She'd gone down all the conventional methods. She'd done counselling. A counsellor actually said to her, I've come to the end of the road. You're not making any,
Wow.
any improvements. You're that detached from
Wow.
your body. So
This
she
is
came.
mind-blowing,
I know,
though, that
and-
somebody's just giving up on her, just like, oh, nothing
Yeah.
else I can do for you.
Yeah, and so she came to me. Anyway, long story short, I think it was after 3 sessions, she felt able to come off medication. After 3 sessions.
Wow.
And she now comes the egg on her own without her mum. And things like that just make me buzz.
Yeah.
That's just what keeps me going, literally, seeing things
bet.
like that day after day after day.
Yeah.
And the messages I get off people saying how different they feel, how more positive they feel, coming off medication.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah, it's huge, huge. This is the future.
Frequency
Definitely.
is the medicine of the future, said
Yeah.
Einstein.
Yeah, it definitely is. Thank you so much,
You're
Marie.
welcome. Thank you for having me.